Hey guys, Third Street Reactions here. We're back with Star Wars The Clone Wars. We're watching it in chronological order.
Is that right?
Yes, I did. Alright, so...
And you're who?
I am Shane.
Zakk.
And I have seen this a few times. Love The Clone Wars, getting this guy into it. He hasn't seen it. He's going through it fresh, okay? So, you remember what happened last episode? We finished a 2-episode arc.
Yeah, we had old Locke fucking...
Nerd.
Durd.
George Takei.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
you recognized his voice before I did. I mean, I knew who it was, but I didn't know he was from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and he's been in multiple things. Mm-hmm. I just remember from Star Trek, he was a helmsman. So yeah, the OG one as well.
Yeah, so, no, I mean, the fucking separatists invade the planet with the little lemur people.
Lerman,
yeah.
Yeah.
Lemurs, Lerman.
Yeah.
Vermin.
Right. Yeah.
So they land there. Yeah. They land there to test out fucking Locke Durd's new weapon.
Yeah, which is something you think, like, that works so well. I mean, I imagine maybe it was his design. It blew up. Anakin destroyed it. Mm-hmm. The only working model of it, and now the guy who has knowledge of it has been arrested by the Republic.
But Dooku understands how it works. You think they could just... some other ideas. Look, it did this.
Yeah.
Make it again.
Something like that, yeah. So, this episode, it's for starting a new arc. Artistically, I think it's pretty cool. It's one I look forward to you watching. So, let's start.
General Kenobi, Chairman Cho, Senator Chuchi, I suggest you wait here until we can secure the area. I think I found something.
You always find something. I seem to have found it. It's just playing the recording of Leia. Mm-hmm.
No blast marks. The clone's injuries were not consistent with what...
So, you're an expert on war now, are you, Senator?
No, Chairman. No, I only...
Let me tell you something, Senator. I have led our people since before you were born.
They're those fuckers that you see at the bar on Tatooine, the Mos Eisley Cantina. And they got the big woolly head with the little fucking thing sticking out of there for a mouth.
Well, I'm just gonna watch.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
They have fucking straws for mouths.
Say something. Just shut up.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Peace.
The handshake meant war or something in their society. The same thing happened with the fucking clone soldiers. But shake their hands and they fucking slaughtered them all.
These creatures are little more than animals. You can't lie to an animal. They can't be trusted.
But Your Majesty...
I've lied to my dog a couple times.
These creatures are not covered by the
guy.
Convention of
Like
Civilization.
what? What did you say to the dog?
Jedi Council
Huh?
has no say.
What is there to lie to a dog about?
The Jedi are able to communicate. Would you like me to represent Pantora in this matter?
Not on your life, Senator. There will be no diplomacy this time.
The great Tai Sen, son of sons, asks again that you leave or it will be war.
Then war it is.
War, PG.
Fuck the Jedi, just leave them. They got
Can't.
slaughtered, just leave them. Not the fucking bully people.
Well, yeah.
Look at that guy.
You could petition the Jedi Council for an intervention.
You mean without his authorization?
There must be someone on your moon who can approve it.
The Speaker of the Assembly. He has the power.
Let's get back to the base. The storm is letting up. Maybe we can get a transmission through.
Gonna crash the canyon on them or some shit.
Bush, it's a trap! Kill them!
They're based off African weapons, ain't they?
I don't know.
The spears are thrown with the sticks.
Huh?
How could this go so wrong?
Oh, I hate to be...
Savages!
The action's great.
It is.
Yeah. He hits him hard, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, he's looking good.
You must avenge me. As my final command, as chairman of Pantora, I order you to destroy the Tals.
I'm afraid I cannot do that, Chairman. I'm to negotiate peace.
No. Impossible. Peace. Never. I died for our people.
Died for himself.
Someone who just,
Senator,
I want to die like that.
now
Just
is the time.
still wanting my enemies vanquished. You know what I mean? Like Andrew Jackson.
Oh, well, he just had his last regrets. We're not fucking, hanging one
His
guy
vice
or
president.
shooting another.
His vice president.
Yeah.
To die for one's people is a great sacrifice. To live for one's people, an even greater sacrifice.
I don't know about that.
Well, you're making the ultimate sacrifice if you die, but you're giving up your whole life to serve your people.
Yeah, I just don't want to die.
What do you choose?
Well, you're going to die anyway.
We will leave Auto Plutonia under the watchful eyes of the Tals from this day forth and recognize your sovereignty as a free and equal people.
They needed the translator for everything else. They needed. How the fuck would they understand what she said?
Oh, those dogs?
No! Even the chief! C-3PO didn't translate.
Oh, I don't know. Shortcut, I guess.
Yeah, it was a shortcut.
I think it would have been stupid if 3PO said it and then they bowed, and then, you know what I mean?
No, it's stupid that they didn't understand the fucking word she's saying and they still bowed.
Maybe they understand keywords. Peace.
No, they didn't understand anything. They had to draw pictures.
Now that you've created and be an example to others, so not only this war, but every war waged may come to an end as well.
I will. I promise you.
Alright, so this was a kind of a contained episode. I really like it quite a bit. What'd you think?
I really liked it. I liked
Yeah.
the setting, the snow, the flurries, the blizzards.
Yeah.
I like the tall a lot.
Well, Mal kind of going through this. This was his least favorite episode, and this, obviously, it's a little more political and more story-driven. You know what I mean? Or
Well, it reminds me a lot of the movie Shaka Zulu,
okay.
which is based off the Zulu attack on a British outpost in South Africa.
Okay.
And the British held out all night against the Zulu attack. It's actually historically accurate, maybe not in every detail, but that did happen.
Yeah.
And so them being eventually cornered, per se, at the canyon after
Yeah.
the bridge fell, and this whole fucking line of the tall are charging them,
Yeah.
they're going to kill them,
Yeah.
reminded me a lot of that.
Sounds pretty cool.
I like a good war story, and I know that overall Clone Wars is one big war story.
It is a war story, yeah.
But a lot of these ain't been all that interesting. I mean, there are a lot of characters I do like in Star Wars and a lot of story elements. But
Yeah.
for the most part, this series hasn't really taken me with many episodes, but this is one.
Yeah, this is a good one. And think about this. What did the Jedi do this whole episode?
They just negotiated.
They did what they're supposed to do.
Yep.
And we saw the lightsabers. They didn't draw them once.
It was nice. The fucking guy, the chairman from
Yep.
the moon,
Yep.
was a piece of shit. He was a real piece of shit.
Yeah, so they're in the Pantera system. And that-
Pantera system, huh?
I'm sorry.
So they fucking rock it out.
they're in the Pantora system.
Cowboys from hell.
And that moon, Orta, I wrote down, Orta Plutonia is that moon, and they didn't think it was uninhabited, and they were wrong. The Tals are there, and as you pointed out, yes, the first time we see a Tals is in
Mos
the
Eisley.
Mos Eisley Cantina.
Yeah.
So one chilling out there, when Obi-Wan cuts that dude's arm off.
So he must have been picked up at some
The
point
doctor's arm.
and taken there if they're savages at this point.
Like,
They
I-
could be kind of like Wookiees, I guess. The Wookiees don't have
Yeah.
all this fancy shit, and someone just happens to take one.
Kind of elevate them a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
No.
So I'm not sure how they spread across the galaxy. I'm not sure there's an explanation for that.
Well, you don't ever see him anywhere else, do you?
No, I don't believe.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that one instance, he's got to be fucking burning up on Tatooine.
You figured, kind of like a Siberian Husky in the summertime.
Yeah, or even Chewie you would think. Well, I guess, they live in a big deciduous forest.
Yeah.
Very
Are
reinforced
they native to
environments.
Kashyyyk? I mean, I guess they Yeah, they are native to Kashyyyk. I should probably.
So I guess there's big fucking shaggy ass elk-hound looking people that
Yeah.
It must get hot, but not as hot as it would be for a tall on Tatooine.
Yeah.
So that's
So-
why he stays in the cantina.
Yeah, you mentioned Chairman Cho. He's kind of a bit of a hard ass, man.
It wasn't that he was a hard ass. He was a fucking douchebag. There are hard asses that are at least intelligent, but that guy was just fucking his head up his ass.
Yeah.
As he reminded me of how the British during the Imperial Britain, the Imperial British times, Victorian era,
Yeah.
Britain, how those guys are always represented in film. Mm-hmm. They're real stuck up.
Yeah.
They have
They're not very gentlemanly.
this air of superiority.
Yeah.
So they lack that altruism that they loved to claim so much back then.
Yeah.
That they bestow upon savages.
He was not very gentlemanly at all.
Bad form.
Very bad form, which
Captain Hook would not appreciate.
I don't think Dooku would either.
I like the weapons they were using, which I need to look up. But I don't remember if it's a South American weapon, Mesoamerican, or if it's African. I don't remember.
Okay.
I could be completely wrong. Maybe it's Pacific Islander, but
Yeah.
the way how they use you have a stick that's made and fashioned in such a way that has a hollow, not really a hollowed point, but a beveled point on one side.
Yeah.
And then the spear sits in it, and they use that to launch the spear.
Oh, so it's straighter?
Over greater distances, and
That makes sense.
so
Okay, yeah, makes perfect
I
sense.
don't know what it's called, and I really don't specifically remember where it's from, but I know I've seen it.
When we watch a 2-hour movie, like the Star Wars movies that are supposed to that represent such an important part of the Star Wars saga, it's the Skywalker saga. Sometimes the politics can kind of dumb you down when it's overbearing, especially when we want this to entertain guys who grew up with these movies 40 years ago. But we also wanted to appeal to 6-year-olds. It's a mishmash, but in this particularly, I felt like it was done very well. Like there's a lot of politics in this, and I think it's made.
It was very enjoyable in the war.
And even though my son still didn't enjoy it too much, like as an adult, I really enjoyed it quite a bit.
I'm not going to tell you my thought because you interrupted me. No, I really didn't keep too many notes. You mentioned the old trilogy versus the new trilogy, etc., and the newer trilogy.
Yeah.
The prequels, I guess, versus...
Well, we haven't seen too much of the
trilogy.
new ones, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right, I guess, but the prequel trilogy was a lot more flash and bang and...
Yeah, and go ahead, yeah.
A little more panache. I guess, whereas the old trilogy, you had a lot more dialogue. Comparably.
I think that
the Emperor's moments, and I know that in the prequel trilogy he had all the moments seducing Anakin.
Yeah. Well, I thought the original trilogy did a better job with the dialogue they had. If they had the same amount, it felt like the OT did more with it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
To drive the story, or at least to drive the characters. So, like Empire...
Well, in the prequel trilogy, Yoda... Everyone wanted to see Yoda fight. You got it. You got the cool CG Yoda bouncing all over the fucking walls. And making crazy noises. But in the original trilogy, he was this cool old hermit.
Yeah.
Living on Dagobah. Kind of quirky at first.
He was outcast, yeah.
And then he had a lot of wisdom on top of that. He really set the bar for those type of characters.
He truly did.
Which, I know is based off of old sages from older films. But
And if that puppet didn't work, that movie would have sucked.
It would have. But they got Jim Henson. They got the best of the best.
And it's so great that those people were so good at their jobs that now, generations later, we have people who are still working on these movies because those people did such a good job. You know what I mean?
Henson, man. He was a master.
Yeah, he did the Ninja Turtles.
So there you go.
And we saw earlier the Dark Crystal movie, which I haven't seen.
Yeah.
And I heard the new show is great. I haven't seen any of them. I want to.
It's odd because the design style of a lot of the characters, to me, is very off-putting. Something about it disturbs me. But
I guess I kind of know what they look like a little bit.
The lack of human presence is one thing. I know it's just all set in this little imaginary world, and it's all elevated by the fact that there are all these little animatronic puppet things.
Yeah.
Something about it is disturbing.
No, yeah.
Maybe I just have a distaste for puppets. I don't know. But
I don't love them.
No, I didn't really watch the Muppets. I like to keep my boot on the puppets' heads. Keep them down there where they're at. So,
I didn't really watch the Muppets. Did you?
No, I didn't watch them much growing up.
I watched Sesame Street.
I watched them more than I was older. When I was older, when I had kids.
Okay.
So I watched it with my kids.
Okay.
And so.
Yeah, I probably should. I haven't. I watched Sesame Street quite a bit when I was younger, but
I watched a little bit, but we didn't have much television.
Yeah, I thought it was on PBS, which was one of the channels I got with my antenna.
Well, they made sure you got PBS.
Yeah.
PBS is
cool.
That's the one thing you would get. So. Wasn't fucking Reading Rainbow on that shit?
Reading Rainbow. Have you seen the video? God, every time I try to find it, it takes me like an hour. There's a guy who did a music video, and he's singing to it. He's this fat, nerdy guy, and he sings to Reading Rainbow. Like, he lip syncs it. He goes, "Take a look." And he's just so funny and crazy.
I never watched that show, really.
It's like 10 years old. It's a guy on YouTube. But, yeah, I liked the Reading Rainbow quite a bit. I don't remember any of it now.
Yeah.
But LeVar Burton's in it, and now that I'm older,
he was the host, right?
Yeah, I really like what it stands for now that I'm older. Quite a bit. Because when they've tried to shut down PBS's funding a bunch of times, he's gone to, like, the Senate and talked about why we need it and, like, why it's important to educate our children. So even though I don't remember it, I appreciate it. But the idea of, like, an advanced civilization feeling like they own a land, and then we have
it
primitive
reminds me
races.
of Victorian era Britain.
Yeah.
In South Africa, like I said, they mentioned that it's very... You can't just take it out of context, but in the instance of the Zulu invasion into South Africa...
Were there indigenous tribes there?
By that time, I think the Zulus had been pushed south.
Okay.
The Zulu nation had expanded west and south because I read up a lot on South African history a while back. It's been years now.
Yeah.
But they expanded and they weren't based out of South Africa particularly. At least that I remember. If they were on the eastern side of South Africa, if I remember right. But they pushed into southern Africa, which the British had been, you say, colonizing. Because I can't remember. I think the Dutch discovered it, or some Dutch settlers, or explorers, merchantmen, whatever.
Yeah.
Discovered it. But then they had the Hottentots there, which I don't remember there. They were an indigenous people that were there, but they were Pacific Islanders, if I remember right.
Okay.
Or something to that nature. They weren't black Africans.
Okay.
What you would assume.
Yeah.
People that had already been there. And then the Dutch settled there, and like most Victorian era settlers and shit. I mean, not everything went down real well.
Yeah.
And the British wanted to control that area.
Yeah.
So Imperial England was present. Mm-hmm. When the Zulu presence started to expand further south, the British tried to hold their own, and essentially they did.
Okay.
But
it kind of makes me...
It's very hit and miss. It's a very piecemeal history lesson here, but...
Well, it's all good. I don't know anything about that.
Like, read the book Diamond's Golden War. There's another book called South African History, written by a South African that I read. I don't remember it. It was a digital book that I read.
Yeah.
I don't fucking remember. So...
No, that's cool shit.
Drank away.
One of the things I kind of thought of was honestly the colonization of the Americas as well. I mean, there's handshake deals done by people, and then there's a ton of other primitive people who had no concept of it or didn't even know about the deal.
Yeah.
And then we had people like, oh, by the way, your land was sold. They pushed out Trail of Tears.
Yeah, no, the Trail of Tears was the Cherokee were already settled here.
Yeah.
And they were actually one of the tribes that were more successful about, what do you call it?
Integrating
into European culture, Americanized culture.
Yeah.
But people still didn't like them.
Yeah.
They fucking marched them out.
Yeah.
So,
the
entire war, the Native American wars and things of that nature, the best way I ever heard it put was the only objective history I've found is military history because it just tells you the facts.
Yeah.
People fought here, they died here, these were the tactics. It has nothing to do with the political history or the reasoning. I mean, they'll tell you the reasons why these people did what they did. But
or they think they know why they did what they did.
Yeah, but they don't. Most of it's just it's more of a study on war and human history and violence, things of that nature. John Keegan, great author.
Yeah.
But he wrote about it. He said that it was inevitable because they were two warlike civilizations, and essentially the Native Americans had done too little too late to drive out European settlers.
Well, I think they were just killed off by smallpox mostly, and they couldn't.
No, I think what eventually was the death knell was it would have been when we went west and we killed off their food supply, the bison.
Yeah, but kind of like the Vikings.
Was a similar tactic to what the North used in the Civil War with the scorched earth policy.
Yeah.
And the Sherman's March.
See, I've read a bunch of people who feel like if the Spanish didn't bring smallpox and killed
it definitely
90%.
decimated populations.
It didn't decimate 90%.
Well, the Americans were still fighting the war out west. The Native American, I don't remember, the Plains Wars, I think is what they were called. So we were still fighting those wars, and it hadn't been resolved.
Yeah.
So there was still conflict, ongoing conflict, and when we started wiping out the bison, and things like that, eliminating their food source and destroying their way of life.
Yeah.
Which, on the one hand, tactically I respect, but on the other hand, it sucked to be a Native American.
Oh,
that one, because for your entire way of life and everything.
It sucked to be a bison.
Well, yeah. Go back now.
Yeah, you're right. It's funny is we've brought them back ourselves.
Well,
the funny thing is we did. Like we came in here and we saw these pyramids and mounds. And what the hell is this? We built over it like Tenochtitlan or whatever, and which is now the city of Mexico. We built over like one of the greatest
Yeah, I know.
We built over one of the greatest cities in America, like in the Americas ever. That was better than anything in Europe.
Tenochtitlan or something.
Yeah, Tenochtitlan. We just have drawings and journal accounts of the beauty of this place, and now it's just.
Well, to be clear, just so it doesn't sound racist,
when
I talked about the policy of eliminating the bison herds to win the war in the West,
I
also have a lot of respect for the scorched earth policy and Sherman's march down south. So I just like those kind of tactics. So, so I'm not trying to draw a line specifically between the white man and the Native American.
Of course,
because the Civil War was fought predominantly by white Americans versus white Americans.
No, of course.
Or white Southerners versus white Northerners, whatever, however you want to put it. But
no, of course. I mean that's an effective thing. I think it's. I mean, it's like
they destroyed their food, their livestock, everything they could base.
Everything
they could rely on.
It's a
for the war
big plan you got to be committed to and understand. Like, there's no going back type of plan. It's
literally. And in turn, you had the reconstruction effort afterward. And
I mean, the vernacular scorch earth policy has been lifted from that now, and it's been applied to other things because it's such a.
Well, actually, a lot of people try to herald Robert E. Lee as a brilliant strategist, tactician, whatever, what have you. And I guess tactically speaking, he was a very good general.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, their Grant and Sherman much more is taught from their tactics and what they did. So
to us or
to military academies.
Yeah,
I ain't been in one. So maybe I'm just telling you what an author wrote.
Okay. So. No, and this is why I love shows like this, where we can talk about things like this. Honestly, because
I've read Grant's memoirs, and it's really cool. I read John Keegan's works on. And the Mask of Command, the book I bought you.
Yeah.
He has an entire chapter in there that's based on Grant.
Okay.
Where he discusses that. So.
I really love it's historical and fictional because there's a lot of guesswork. But like I said, I told you before, Killer Angels and Gods and Generals.
The only thing I don't like about those is that you have what happened after the South. You have the Lost Cause. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that Lost Cause, the voice of the Lost Cause is echoed in that where they kind of try to make you. It's just on the nose where they try to make you sympathize with Southerners as far as. Not that I have anything against Southerners. My point is that they bring it to a point where it's on the nose where these generals are sitting there. Soliloquy,
which is like a monologue to the audience.
Yeah, well, they do that kind of shit, and that's how it feels, and it's in my face, and I don't like the shit being thrown in my face. So. There's South, like Keegan wrote that Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah.
The North never produced a general like him.
Yeah.
He was completely unique and amazing as far as being a tactician, but I don't know. Military history I just enjoy, so I enjoy both sides of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know more about it than me, but like you know me, like when we're eating McDonald's on the table, I'm trying to put up on my phone some type of history. It's not always military history, but that's really cool.
No, it's very enjoyable shit.
Like to wrap this up, I really like this arc, and it showed the Jedi doing what they should be doing. Like we always see them as warriors, these warrior monks. That probably literally is 1% of what a Jedi does. You know what I mean?
Except
we're seeing all the cool stuff.
All you ever fucking see, mostly in the Star Wars film.
Oh yeah. So we're seeing the Star Wars. Like we're seeing the wars that are taking place, and these Jedi are being elevated to do things they never wanted to do, like warriors. They weren't really supposed to be warriors. They're supposed to be defenders of peace. Cool. And here I feel like George really said, okay, this is what Jedi really does, and even to the point where, I'm sorry, Senator Chuchi.
Yeah.
Where she was like, hey, you are a negotiator. You're
Senator Chuchu.
Yes. Yeah. Try to get Obi-Wan to broker the peace, right? And
she just tried to pass the fucking buck.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got the permission. Could you do it for me? You could tell she was very
reserved.
I wouldn't say reserved. I would say she definitely had reservations.
Yeah.
It's a reserve, basically.
Yeah. And I think Obi-Wan just understood that's not the best way to get this done.
Yeah, you can see the look he shot to Anakin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of just great stuff with Obi-Wan and Anakin doing what they're supposed to be doing, not drawing their lightsaber, trying to negotiate and trying to make everyone else make peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just... And that's like, the perfect thing a Jedi's supposed to do. Okay? And where are they now that this war is here? You know what I mean? We know Anakin likes it.
The war was the Sith's weapon.
No, and that's what it is. Yeah, you're right. I don't have too much else to say. I like the outfits, too. Because those are all new designs. Every time they do that, they have to make a new fucking design, everything else.
Well, any kind of... For the most part, in any fictional work, generally the cold weather gear looks the coolest.
It always kind of does, doesn't it?
It always does. It always there's more layers, there's more to it.
Yeah.
You're in the fucking black sails where these guys are fucking partying in the Caribbean and doing their shit. What's his name? Charles something or something.
Vane?
Like, yeah, Vane.
I do like Vane.
Yeah, he's always walking around with his shirt off, and then he shows him one scene where he's buck-ass naked and his fucking ass is fucking pale white.
Yep. I remember
And so there ain't nothing to his outfit, though. He's always got these leather chaps on, and he's
You're right about
shirtless.
that.
So there's just nothing to it, unless you're some fucking chick that just loves heartthrobs on television that
No, of course.
wants to see some skin. So
Yeah.
I mean, we ain't going to have an Aayla Secura on here with this fucking...
Not too many.
With their bellies showing, but their outfits look fucking cool. So
That being said, guys, we talked this episode to death. I think we're about done. Anything else to say?
yeah, he wants to go eat, so...
I do. Guys, thank you so much for watching the reaction to Star Wars: The Clone Wars. If you like thirsty reactions, just subscribe to our channel and go back and check out our back catalog of Clone Wars, Mandalorian, Samurai Jack, all the other things that we do. Make sure you subscribe, hit that
There is a plethora of videos.
plethora, hit that notification. We appreciate the hell out of you.